Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship.
Nobby, remember, not only in the mirror, this year we changed the situation. We will beat you.
We must not lay back, so we keep pushing, and I want to do it, it would be really, really nice. If I could become, the most successful driver in truck racing and, Revis Racing team could become the most successful team of truck racing.
Welcome to the FIA Goodyear European Truck Racing Championship. Race number 1 is about to get started here in Misano, Italy, and it's going to be a super exciting new season 2025. We have new trucks, as you can tell. Stefan Faas is in the house, Norbert Kisch with a new truck, Jochen Hahn with a new truck, Sascha Lenz with a new truck. So many new drivers, such a big field. There he is, Sascha Lenz, also coming with a new truck just to find his starting position. We already had quite an amazing qualifying this morning. And no, we're not starting out with reverse grid, in case you might be wondering why Norbert Kisch is starting from the rear. He had some issues with his truck. It's Baloo Jr. as Baloo Sr. His long-term truck got sold to René Reichert, who managed to finish in the front. So very sad news for Norbert. You can see his truck was pulled back to his team, and they had quite a lot of fixing to do already today. So no qualifying for Norbert Kisch, no qualifying for Stefan Faas, who had kind of the same issues with his new truck. Top Gun it is. We will talk about that one later on. So they're starting from the rear. We will walk a little more up so you can see what's going on over here. And of course, I'm not alone. I have my commentators in the house again. Jess Traycott is with us again. For everyone who's listening in English, we have Joachim Eberts. For everyone who's on the German channel, herzlich willkommen an euch alle. And of course, we have Fonsi Cebrian for everyone in the Spanish fan crowd. So a lot of stuff will be happening. You can see there's so many new trucks, new drivers, new people coming back. So, there's so much to tell you. It's going to be a long live stream. It's going to be a fantastic race. Bear with us. I will do some more walking, and I'm handing over to Jess for a second and a half.
Thank you, Lena. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the first race broadcast of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And with Jochen Hahn on pole position, one of the key highlights is that Norbert Kisch will be starting from further down the order in 16th place on the grid. They had steering issues in the Revis Racing MAN during qualifying, which meant he didn't even get out in qualifying 1 to set a time. So he'll be starting right near the back of the grid. Stefan Faas having similar issues with his Freightliner as well. Stefan Kirsch didn't have the qualifying he would have wanted. He's going to start 15th on the grid after not having a valid time. He went outside of track limits and had his times deleted. But it's, of course, a very exciting time with the first race of the season just about to get underway. There is the gorgeous number 24, Tank Pool 24 racing machine of Stefan Faas. He's moved over from the Scania that he's been racing for the last 4 years over to this Freightliner. And it's a very, very new kettle of fish for them, to say the least. There's Luke Garrett's number 42 machine for Garrett Truck Sport. Completely new look for them as well this season, with a new title sponsor alongside them. They have this lovely black, blue and yellow design on their truck, with the blue frame as well, with the Fortune Tyres branding on it as well. You can also see the Total Energies HVO shark fin over the fifth wheel of the truck, and a very packed grid down there at Misano. Fantastic turnout for this first race of the season. As you can see, the Goodyear bridge along the top there as well, framing our picture very nicely from down at turn 1. You see the official truck, the Ford F-Max, and then the pace truck as well. We're going to go further down to the tail end of the order, and Lena is going to speak to Luke Garrett.
Actually, not Luke Garrett, because he's busy with his mechanics right now. Yeah. But I really don't know what's going on with Luke. So many races he has been participating. Everything is running smoothly with his truck. And once he enters the racetrack, there's an issue with the truck. It's like the truck doesn't want to race, or what's going on.
It's been a crazy few days, really crazy few days. We got here and we set up, and it's just been one thing after another. And I think we will get there. We've got a new partner now, which is great. We're on a 3-year deal, which is amazing. And it's just getting all these little bits right.
But you have done some testing, no? So you know the truck is able to run smoothly or not?
Yeah, we have done testing, and it's just getting it right. Is, you know, a gearbox failure, that can happen.
Okay, we're in Italy. There's a new pope, so maybe we should have someone come over and do like burn some candles, do some spray.
We do need this right now.
I'm so sorry for you guys, knowing you're like a family team. It's like to the basics, and you really fight all the time. You come back with a good mood. I can see you guys work so hard, and then it's like, okay, no, this is gonna be a good one, and then another shit box. Sorry, so to say, but it is what it is.
It's true, yeah. It is. It's one of those things, and it's just, you know, we get failures, but we'll come out the other side. It's the beginning of the season. We've done a lot of improvements through the winter, so let's see. I think it'd be good.
Okay, people, cross your fingers for Luke Garrett, because it really hurts my heart seeing all these issues going on over here. Jess, over to you, and I will find someone else to speak to. So sorry.
Daryl Stamp there from Luke Garrett's team. Thank you very much, Daryl, for taking time out of what I can imagine is a busy afternoon trying to get the truck in full racing order. And Lena put it in words that I'm not allowed to say live on air there when the truck is misbehaving itself, that's safe to say. But it's great to see such a packed grid, isn't it? We have 17 trucks on our grid this weekend, a 16-strong full entry field for the season. And it's very exciting to see that all come to fruition. Exciting also to see that the new pit building at Misano has come to fruition as well. Over the last few years when we've been visiting, you've seen the building gradually going up, and it almost looked like a roller coaster at one point was being built on top of the pit lane buildings, because it's got this strange sort of what looks like a rail system that goes up and curves along the top of it. And it looked like it was just going to be a roller coaster, but it turns out it's this very artistic frame along the top. We've got a new driver or two on the grid this season, and one of which is Christian Ruppert. He's going to be speaking to Lena, I believe.
Yes, he is. And before we start talking, I have to point out the sticker saying sponsors welcome. Motorsport is expensive, everyone knows that. But you managed to arrive. We met at Rally Dakar last year when you were with a truck somewhere in the desert doing great stuff. And then you decided to come over and do racetracks. Why so?
Yeah, I met someone at the Dakar who had an old race truck I could rent for the last year, and did the Dutch Championship. Was great. Then I looked for a better truck. I found the truck from Sasha, and the problem is that we've managed the deal in middle of November, so really late to find good sponsors. So sponsors welcome. And yeah, for me everything is new. It's my first start in the European Championship. I'm pretty nervous. I hoped I'd be the dead last, but yeah, qualifying was good for me. The lap times are good. I'm happy. Hope for a good race, not to destroy, not have any problems with the faster guys. So I'm here to learn and have fun.
Yeah, they're behind you. So let's see if you're the one who puts out the elbows once the race starts, or if you're more smoothly going to side and telling them to please pass and just let you do your thing. Quick last word, where do you come from? Have you done car racing beforehand? Are you familiar with racetracks, or are you the desert guy who is coming back to Misano?
No, I started with motocross as a passenger in the sidecar, did quad cross, solo racing, on road racing with a solo bike, then road racing with a sidecar for many, many years. Then I thought it stopped. Then I found the Dakar. We did the Dakar 2 times. And now I'm here on the racetrack, on a beautiful racetrack at Misano. But for the first time, I've done some hours in the sim. But yeah, it will be hopefully funny.
Okay, I really like that. It's like if you're out there looking to race the European Truck Racing Championship, just speak to Christian, because he knows how you can jump from one to the next. And we are welcoming our guests in the world feed. Television is coming over to the live stream as well. So I'm calming down for 1 second, and then we're going to come back and say hi to everyone else from all over the world. Welcome to the fans of the FIA Goodyear European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome to the whole world who's watching. And race number 1 here in Misano, Italy is just about to get started. And in case you miss qualifying, just go back online, go to YouTube. We have our own channel over there and you will see everything because we have new trucks, we have new drivers, we have so much going on already and the race has not even started. Talking about Norbert Kisch right here in my bag, it's not reverse grid. He had some issues with this new truck. It's called Baloo Junior. And now he has to start from the rear. Also, we have Steffen Faas with a new truck. He had some issues. So you can see there's a lot going on over here. I will turn around just so you can see the starting grid. We have new guys like Christian Ruppert, who was like, I will just try this. I have done Rally Dakar beforehand. I got the old truck from Sascha Lenz, and now I will do some European Truck Racing Championship. We have John Newell with a new truck. Clemens Hecker is back in the race, and so on and so on. So I will hand over to Jess Draycott, our English commentator, but I will show you more for sure because we have a couple of minutes before the first race is going to be starting.
Yes, thank you, Lena. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draycott commentating on the English live feed again this season, and it is an absolute honour to be back for my 5th season with the championship. Everybody's very excited about this first race weekend, and with the added twist that we do not have Norbert Kisch on pole position, it's certainly going to spice up the championship points in the opening stages of the campaign. We're here at Misano, Italy, in the centre of Italy. I'll say the centre, it's actually quite far down south, isn't it, really? Down the boot of Italy, as we call it. But this wonderful circuit was first opened in 1972, over 50 years ago, and was designed for motorbike racing as well, which, as we've just spoken to Christian Ruppert on the live stream over on YouTube, just ahead of coming to our TV audience, our international TV audience, it seems like, well, anyone can go from bike racing to truck racing. He must be absolutely crazy. Still, what a great circuit this is, though. Wonderful conditions so far as well. It's 19 degrees air temperature. It's not very windy at the moment, considering how windy it often gets here at Misano, but there's some huge challenges and some heavy braking zones on this racing circuit. And a lot of the drivers are going to have to be careful and think about those brake temperatures as the race goes on. Jochen Hahn takes pole position then. He'll be over the moon with that one, despite it being a steering problem that caught Norby off guard and kept him out of the session. Alongside him on the front row, though, Antonio Albacete, 3-time champion himself. He knows what he's doing from there. Steffi Halm and Sascha Lenz make up a very fierce row too, ahead of René Reinert, who it's great to see back in the series, and Mark Taylor, the highest placed driver in the Chrome category. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez will start from 7th alongside Bradley Smith in the Don't Touch Racing Iveco, and then it's Louis Requenco and Jonathan Andre, who is making a race-by-race entry here this weekend. He starts inside the top 10. Clemens Hecker will then line up alongside John Newell, with Luke Garrett alongside newcomer Christian Ruppert. And then the 3 drivers that didn't get valid times on the board. Stefan Kirsch was out in qualifying 1. He didn't get a valid time on the board due to track limits. And then Norbert Kisch and Stefan Faas both having steering problems that kept them out of the qualifying session. But just as I mentioned there, Lena basically spoke to Christian Ruppert just a moment ago, and it seems like he's come from bike racing over to truck racing. He's gone a little bit crazy with that. But still, we're going to speak to René Reinert, who is great to see back in the series after a few years away. He's going to have a quick chat with Lena.
And Baloo is a name you might have heard of. It's like the former truck from Norbert Kisch. This is Baloo Senior. He used to be red, now it's blue, and it has a new owner. It's René Reinert. He used to be in the championship. Like 3 years ago, he had the last race. Now he bought this one and he decided to come back, and it seems like everything is running very well so far, René. It's so good to have you back. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, yeah. I'm also happy to be back, and the warm-up or the training was not so easy. It was not. I expected that it can maybe a little bit better, but then in the qualifying, 5th place. It looks good, but there's also a big gap to the guys and also to Steffi in the front. So this is.
You're not too bad. And how much driving have you done when you had the break? Have you been in a truck at all?
No. Only the training in Most, the 3 days in April, and then was a 3 years break. There was no race car, no race truck, nothing.
Okay, I think it's still in your system. You're also in a winning car, so maybe the combination of you being an experienced driver and having a nice car might do its way.
Yeah, it's a really nice car, and this makes. Nobody say it, but it makes a little bit pressure, from outside, and also for me. I know the car is fast, can win races, so now I have to adapt and I have to learn a lot of things. So and I hope step by step I can really be a little bit faster.
Okay, we let you focus on your first race of today. Good luck to you. Keep this baby in well shape and leave it in the front. And I will head over and see if someone else, maybe Jochen Hahn has a quick word, or Steffi. She did amazing in the qualifying. Jess, back to you. I need a couple of meters, and then maybe before the race start we can have one quick word of Jochen before the show will be starting.
Thank you, Lena. Great to hear from René there. It's lovely to have him back in the championship after 3 years out. Like I say, he competed in the 2021 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship and then missed 22, 23 and 24. Lovely to have him back once again. Last time we saw him, though, he was racing in an Iveco. This time round, of course, we have him in the ex-Norbert Kisch MAN, starting in this race in 5th on the grid, ahead of Mark Taylor, the Chrome class leader. He will start alongside him. The Ford F-Max has just made its way around the circuit to do its inspection lap of this fantastic circuit. And before long, we'll get ready to go for the very first race of the weekend. As you can see, though, very hot conditions at the minute. Everybody preparing to get underway with not a single cloud in the sky from what we can see here around Antonio Albasetti's machine. There's Tim Frost on the right, and there is the man himself, Antonio Albasetti. Anyone in motorsport that hasn't heard of Antonio must have been living under some sort of rock for a long, long time. Very well-known Spanish racing driver. He's won just about everything. He's won Formula Renault. He's won in touring cars. He's raced for many different manufacturers as a factory driver in touring cars. He's a triple truck racing champion as well. And double that tally, and you'd get the titles of Jochen Hahn, who's with Lena.
Actually just started his engine, so maybe Lucas has a second for me, because I know Jochen is in his tunnel now. But Lucas, I hope I get to see you back in the truck. Let's walk over, because we have to get out of the way. The race is about to get started. How's your dad feeling right now, being here in pole position?
I think he's feeling good. Yeah. No, we are well. I think we are prepared really good, and hopefully we can fight for the title this year again.
Yes, he is the 6-time European champion. Norbert is the 6-time European champion. So guess what? The fight is on about who's going to become the 7-time European champion. Maybe Jochen, so far with his new truck, had quite a good qualifying. So let's see how the race goes. Jess, are you excited as I am? Because I can't wait to get this race started here in Misano, Italy.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well, Lena. Cannot wait to get this one underway, I should say. Should be really good fun, this one, as we have the Ford F-Max on circuit right now, the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We certainly do love this thing. It's been the official truck for a few years just now. It's just on its inspection lap. Make sure there's nothing on the circuit, because obviously if there is, then they need to make sure that they don't have the race going underway when there's any threat to the race itself. At the moment then, we have the F-Max just making its way into the pit lane. I think it's all good. And there you see now the grid. Almost looks like the pace truck is actually a sort of white and grey livery, but it turns out it's not. It's just the shadow from the bridge that's been cast down over the front of it. And you can see there the seemingly taller MAN of Antonio Albasetti on the front row of the grid. Jochen Hahn alongside him. Seems like the Iveco quite a bit lower, isn't it, from where the roof actually ends up. There seems to be quite the height difference between the two of them, but the trucks lead away from the grid for the first time this season. and it is our delightful Iveco pace truck, the SE-Way. It is the first time we've ever had a fully electric pace truck. It's fantastic to have it as part of the championship and to have the support of Iveco for this. As you see, fully electric machine. Completely silent as it glides its way around the circuit. We really do love this thing. It's great to have the change. It's the first time it's been changed from the bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way that we've had for the first few years, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably grateful for that, being sick of me going on about it for four years or so. But this time, the very clean designed Iveco SE-Way leads us around, and it obviously gives us our grid. Jochen Hahn alongside Antonio Albacete on the very front row of the grid. The two of them have 9 titles between them. Steffi Halm and Sascha Lenz on row 2, both of them wanting their first championship titles and being consistent frontrunners for the last few years. Then it's René Reiner. Great to have him back in the championship with us. He's alongside Mark Taylor on the third row. Then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, reigning Chrome champion, with Bradley Smith in the number 11 Don't Touch racing machine alongside him. Louis Requenco starts 9th on the grid, with Jonathan Andre starting inside the top 10 on his first appearance of the season. Great to have him back with us as well. Then it's Clemens Hecker, truck number 25. He starts 11th alongside John Newell. They make up the 6th row of the grid, 11th and 12th. Luke Garrett next up. Hopefully all the issues are sorted. He's alongside newcomer Christian Ruppert. As Lena said before, he's made his jump over from motorbike racing into trucks and Dakar. Must be mad. Stefan Kirsch and Norbert Kisch make up a tongue-twisting row number 8. And then Stefan Faas will line up in 17th position. Unfortunately for him, a steering issue kept him out of qualifying 1, which meant that he could not take part. The team now making their way into the final sector now in the Iveco pace truck, the SE-Way. I believe we still have Frank driving the pace truck for this season. Haven't seen him about in any of our footage just yet, but sometimes the wonderful people of the paddock like to hide away. And to be honest, probably looking for shade in these current conditions, as it is mighty hot out there in Misano, as it always tends to be. A few seasons ago we came here and it was 38 degrees Celsius air temperature. It was absolutely crazy. It was boiling everybody alive in the paddock. And inside the trucks at times it was over 60 degrees Celsius. And I've been told it's Nico from Iveco that is driving the pace truck this season. He makes his way in. Good job from Nico. And are we ready to go? Because for the first time this season, in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, we are racing from Misano, and it's a fantastic start for Antonio Albacete, and he gets ahead of Jochen Hahn, maybe even a little bit of contact down towards turn 1. They remain side by side. Jochen has to sideswipe him into turn 1. He runs wide, and Steffi Halm tries to go through. René Reiner gets squeezed out to the outside there by Sascha Lenz as well. It remains side by side between Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm out of turns 1 and 2. Are they going to keep it all together as you see the rest of the field come through? The truck completely locking up all wheels. That's Sascha Lenz. Loads of smoke off Sascha's truck, and Mark Taylor goes through on the right-hand side of him. But Jochen Hahn holds the lead. Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm side by side. Then it's René Reiner. Mark Taylor's made up some ground as well. Norbert Kisch has made a couple of places as well. Christian Ruppert has dropped to the back of the pack. And a very busy first couple of corners. And Jochen Hahn, well, he's looking very comfortable, isn't he, actually, after those first few corners. Some side-by-side action in the middle of the field there as well. I think also involved in some of that was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. A bit of dust and smoke being kicked up there by the trucks, one of the penalty markers seemingly falling over. René Reinert right up behind Steffi Halm now. But a great start that eventually by Jochen Hahn. Anyway, he had to fight so hard to get back in front of Antonio Albacete down towards turn 1. Antonio got a great launch, managed to get just ahead. And then by the time they got to turn 1, Jochen said, no thank you, I'll have some of that, and got back down the inside again. Everybody still running there. It must be great to be driving that BMW at the back of the pack, chasing down all these things on the circuit. What a view that is. Steffi Halm there, late into the right-hander, hoping to get a run on the exit there to try chasing Antonio Albacete. I think there's a little bit of damage to the right rear of that truck. Potentially just bodywork damage for now. It's knocked it slightly out of kilter. But that is the first lap of 2025 in the books, and the incident itself is under investigation. That is no surprise to see. Jochen Hahn leads the way, Albacete second. And is that Norbert Kish making his way through the field? I think it was. Norby really on a charge. He's already ahead of John Newell. And that is already going to put him inside the top 10, surely. Norbert Kish, he's not actually showing on our timing screen, unfortunately. Seems like the transponder isn't working. But if he's ahead of Newell, that puts him in 9th place. Steffi Halm has taken 2nd position away from Antonio Albacete. There you go, Norbert Kish's transponder has now put him in 10th position. But that was as he crossed the line. He has since gotten ahead of John Newell. Sasha Lenz is just behind. Actually, Sasha Lenz is just behind Mark Taylor still. Yeah, I did wonder if I got that the right way around then. A few more white and blue trucks in the field than we're used to. Down the inside goes Sasha or Mark Taylor. The two of them were previously teammates. Looks like Bradley Smith's got a little bit of damage on his truck as well. Looks like some real recovery work going on from Norbert Kish. Quite a bit of smoke coming off the back of Stefan Faast's truck for just a second there. That might be a concern to them a little bit later down the line. Sasha Lenz has a little bit of damage on the right rear of his truck. There's René Reinert. Currently 4th position for him. Mark Taylor behind, the top 5 for him at the moment. Great driving by Mark in the opening stages to benefit from all the chaos in front of him. Currently leading the chrome category as well. He's got Sasha Lenz and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind him. Antonio Albacete holding 3rd, but Steffi Halm, a great start for her as well. Up into 2nd position now behind Jochen Hahn. Good return to the championship for René Reinert. Like he said, he's not done any training or practice or anything. Just behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez now is Norbert Kish. You can already see him in the background. He's gotten ahead of Jonathan Andre already on this lap. Steffi Halm there, around turn 1 into turn 2. Lovely chicane at the start of the lap. Really do love that first sector. So tricky in these race trucks. Antonio Albacete trying to chase her down. I wonder what damage Antonio has from that start of the race. Don't know if he's had a knock somewhere. He tries to look down the inside. It doesn't look like that tyre has gone down. One of the beautiful things about these race trucks is because they have 4 wheels on the rear, you can often have a puncture on the outer tyre and you can still compete in the race. Up to about 90% pace usually. We saw John Newell hold off a whole host of trucks at Le Mans last year with a puncture on the right rear tyre. But Steffi making a good start to her campaign already here, holding 2nd place. The lap counter in the top left of the screen, by the way, that is the laps that have been completed so far. So this is the 3rd lap of the race. Norbert Kish moving further and further up the order, but it seems like there's a slight transponder issue with that machine at the moment. It does say that he's down in last position, but he's there actually, side by side with Sasha Lenz. Sasha will be looking out of the window thinking, where on earth have you come from? How have you done that? And Norbert Kish on the right-hand side, nearly making contact with him at 100 miles an hour in 5-ton racing trucks. Down towards the final sector. Norby backs out of that one, I think. No, he's braking early, gets the stability into the right-hand kink. Gives all the room that he needs to, then sticks it to the apex. Norby will be driving with the want for, not necessarily vengeance, but just a bit more retribution after that first qualifying session of the season put him right to the back of the grid. Mark Taylor is right up behind René Reiner at the moment. And that battle is going to help Norbert Kish get closer and closer to the front. Baloo Jr. means business. Baloo Jr. right up behind Baloo itself, actually. Norby's old race truck is the blue one just in front of him, and look at the grip that he's got there round the outside at turn 2. That's inspired, the way that it moved around there. Mark Taylor not wanting to give him a single inch there. As Sasha Lenz now moves down the inside, he says, go on then, I'll take one of those freebies, thank you very much. That would put Mark, well, very much in touch with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind him. Actually, I think Mark's been overtaken by Jose Eduardo as well. He has. Jose Eduardo getting in front, so Mark's nearest competitor now is Jonathan Andre in the Chrome class. Norby right up behind his teammate, René Reiner. It's normally red versus blue, but right now it's red and blue, the two teammates together. There is Jonathan Andre, currently running in 9th position. The timing tower says 8th, but yeah, he's currently in 9th. Trucks 64 and 66, which is Jonathan Andre and Louis Requenco, have their first penalty marker warnings. René hoping to hold on ahead of his teammate and reigning champion, 6-time champion Norbert Kish. But Norby's made an incredible run through the order. From the very back of the grid, in 16th place, up into 5th in just 3 and a bit laps. That's absolutely crazy. But look at the pace and the momentum that he manages to carry into and out of every corner. The way that he's got that thing dialed in is just on another level already. Everybody wondered what would the pace of Baloo Jr. be like compared to the old truck. They've rebuilt this thing from the ground up, or they have, well, not even rebuilt it, but they have built it from the ground up with everything they've learned from the previous truck, and they could get it exactly how they wanted it, and exactly how Norby wanted to run it as well. And they've created a monster, it seems. Down the inside goes Norby, a clean move on clean fuel. Let's not forget that all these trucks run on 100% renewable HVO diesel. It's one of the wonderful things about this championship is the sustainability of it. We've got electric pace trucks, we've got 100% renewable HVO diesel, we've got Goodyear as well with their new sustainable tyre compound this year. It's a 55% sustainable material tyre that has made its truck racing debut this season. I did go through the ingredients during our qualifying stream. Absolutely butchered the list, I won't lie. But on top of that, Goodyear also retread the tyres as well. So a lot of these tyres that you see used on the racing trucks will often be retreaded. And then, if they're in obviously survivable state, they will then be used on the road in the haulage industry. Here's Eduardo Rodriguez there with a bit of bodywork missing off the front of that MAN. It's a similar condition to what we got used to seeing it in last year as he fought his way hard to the Chrome Championship title. Norbert Kish through and past René Reiner and already on a mission to go chasing after Antonio Albacete, Norby's teammate from 2024 and 2023 as well. That number 1 machine is absolutely flying. Norby drives quickly all the time anyway, but if he's fired up and needs to recuperate for something not quite going right, you can bet that he'll do that. René Reiner just ahead of Sasha Lenz at the moment in 6th position. Mark Taylor leading the Chrome category ahead of Jonathan Andre and Bradley Smith as well, running well in the number 11 Don't Touch racing machine. Bradley was brought into the team last season alongside Andre Kursim. There are two of the other Ivecos in the field as Norbert Kish has already gotten past Antonio Albacete. How has he done that? Already on the exit of turn 3, Norbert Kish is up into a podium position. That is absolutely remarkable. We've seen how quick Norby is before, but this is something else. He said he was hoping for points in the first race of the season. Nothing big, in his words. And this has been an inspired drive, even from Norbert Kish's standards. Absolutely remarkable. He just seems to be able to get the thing stopped in a completely different manner and get it turned in. It's such a great platform for him. And now he's already closing in on Steffi Halm in the Iveco, hoping to take second position. And we're only at the halfway point of the race as well. That's the scary thing. When they last crossed the line, he was 6.3 seconds off of race leader Jochen Hahn. As he has to really slam on the brakes there not to hit the back of the Iveco into the hairpin. That closes him up slightly into Antonio Albacete, but look at the run that he gets out of the corner. I do wonder if Antonio's got damage there. Now, admittedly, I get a slightly lower resolution feed than you'll be seeing on YouTube, but I do wonder if that tyre is slightly delaminated. There was a little bit of contact at the start of the race between Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete, and I don't know if that's had an issue that's sort of carried, or it's given him an issue that has sort of been carried through the race. Yeah, we are hearing that there are transponder issues with Norby's truck, hence it hopping up and down the timing screen as he now looks to the inside of Steffi Halm's machine. Steffi usually running, by the way, in the white and orange Schwaben truck machine, but this year in the white and red. Norby has to run wide on the exit of turn 4. As they head down towards the left-hander at the bottom of the back straight, though, what can Norby do about being late on the brakes? We know he can carry a lot of speed around the outside here. Steffi runs slightly wide. Norby's not able to do anything about that. They all hit the penalty markers except Norby. Antonio gives it a glance on the exit. Nothing doing this time. Antonio's in a great position here to make a move on his ex-teammate, but I don't think he'll be able to. Seems like this is the unstoppable force against the immovable object here. Fantastic defensive driving once again from Steffi Halm. We've seen her do this a number of times before. She is one of the best defensive drivers in the field. I think it was Slovakia Ring last year when she was leading the race and Norbert Kish was attacking as down the inside he goes. Makes the move, but Steffi on the outside line gets a better run off the corner, has the inside line for the next left-hander. And the team watch on in anticipation. Chamabacco there, the chief engineer of Revace Racing, wanting to see if his driver comes across the line in front of the Iveco or not. The two of them side by side down towards turn 1. Norby pulling off an interesting strategy that we've seen many times before. You squeeze over to one side of the circuit and then fan out all the way to the racing line. By the time you get to the braking zone, it's worked for him around the outside. And Norbert Kish, I can't believe I'm saying this, up into second position with just over half the race gone. We're on lap 8 out of 12 here at Misano in the first race of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And Jochen Hahn has a lead of 5.8 seconds over Norbert Kish. Let's see what their lap times look like next time they cross the line. Norby had to back out of a few moves in that previous lap. Mark Taylor, by the way, has gotten ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's made a move. And there they are, actually. You can see them on screen right now with Bradley Smith just sat behind them. I wonder how long we'll go through the season before I incorrectly call out that truck as Andre Kurzim. But Bradley has made the jump up from the British Championships to the European Series now, onto the big stage. And I imagine, knowing Bradley and knowing his dad and everyone else involved, they'll be absolutely loving it. There's such a positive light in the paddock. And with the combined experience and knowledge of Don't Touch Racing, I'm sure they can propel Bradley onto the results that he's definitely got the talent for. He's currently second in the Chrome class. Jonathan Andre is third in class at the moment, but he's a good 6 seconds down on this fight. Stefan Faas has unfortunately come into the pit lane, I'm told. Thank you to Barbara. She's giving details from down there on the ground at the circuit. Such a shame for Stefan, this new truck, hoping to overcome all the technical gremlins they were having with the Scania in previous seasons, and it seems that's not the case. Mark Taylor gets a poor run out of the final corner. You could hear the tyres screaming for mercy just a moment ago. As Jose Eduardo Rodriguez looks down the inside, it's great to see these two reignite a fight, but one of them is in the Chrome class now. The other, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, has moved up to the Titan category after such a successful 2024 season. You can see Mark really working every inch of that truck to try and keep it in front of the reigning Chrome champion. A little bit of contact, I think, through turn 4. Bradley Smith's now got his nose down the inside. No, not this time round. No move there for him, but clever racing that by Bradley. He saw a small gap that was ever closing and he thought, nope, I don't want anything to do with that, thank you. And now Bradley looking down the inside as Mark tries to squeeze by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Great battling though, isn't it, between these drivers? Now this is going to be Norbert Kisch's first lap without any obstruction, let's say, without having to battle with anybody. Let's see what his lap time looks like when he crosses the line. Last time round he did a where's he gone on the timing screen? A 2:05.9 to the 2:06.5 of Jochen Hahn, so he was 0.6 of a second quicker on that previous lap. He has a gap of 5.3 seconds to gain and probably, well, 3 more laps to gain it. So it's going to have to be some even more than usually impressive stuff from Norbert Kisch. 2:05.8 to a 2:04.6. So 1.2 seconds quicker last time round. The gap is down to 4 seconds. He's really on the move, isn't he, is Norby? Once again. And once again, a reminder that these trucks all run on 100% renewable HVO diesel, as they have done for a few years now. And it is fantastic to see that the circuit is adorned with such sustainable racing vehicles. A lot of people still have the idea in their head that truck racing provides huge black clouds of diesel smoke everywhere, but that doesn't always have to be the case. It is not a form of racing that is dying out. Truck racing is only getting better and better, with the help of the industry as well, and in turn helping the industry. The racing circuit is the perfect playground to test lots of different new technologies and tools and any sort of technological advancements that could go back into the industry itself. We've got a great battle going on there though for the Chrome lead, involving Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. There is Jochen Hahn and there is Norbert Kisch. He's had a bit of a curse here at Misano over the last few years, hasn't he, Norby? Because let's not forget, a couple of seasons ago he didn't finish the first race of the season due to an electrical failure. Then he had to spend the next few race meetings trying to reclaim those points and make up the advantage that Jochen Hahn had. Mark Taylor now having to defend a little bit here from Bradley Smith. The two of them have raced together in the UK for quite a while, racing against each other. Bradley is really on a charge. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? We've seen some fantastic performances from Bradley in the last year or so. And it looks like Mark's truck hasn't been as kind to its tyres in this race as the others around it have. It's fallen slightly off a cliff in terms of pace over the last few laps. There's Jonathan Andre just behind them in third position. That'll be a podium in class for him, which he'll be happy about. Then a bunch of Chrome drivers behind that. John Newell ahead of Clemens Hecker. Then Luke Garrett. And then Louis Requenco. Thank you to Lisa Garrett, by the way, for clarifying exactly how you pronounce the brand on the front of that machine. I couldn't figure out whether it was Orst 1 or Orstone, and it's Orstone. Orstone and Fortune Tyres, the sponsor of Luke Garrett this season, with the yellow and blue branding. Interesting design on their machine with the two companies under the same umbrella, one on one side of the truck and one on the other. I like an asymmetrical livery. I'm sure Mark Taylor would like an asymmetrical truck right now as Bradley Smith checks out both sides of it to see whether he can get through at the end of the back straight. Then there's a gap to Jonathan Andre. John Newell seems to be clear of Clemens Hecker, who's under attack from Luke Garrett. It's good to see that despite the technical issues that have still been plaguing Garrett's team, they're able to get it out on track and get fighting amongst these Chrome drivers. Luke himself is a very accomplished driver. He's won class championships before. He knows what he's doing behind the wheel. Just needs the truck to behave itself for a prolonged period of time. I think by the time we got to Harama at the end of last year with the steering issues they'd had all year, the team were pretty fed up with the truck by the end, but you know what? Hats off to them. They were resilient and they kept fighting until the very last lap of the season. And they never gave up, and that's one of the best things about the teams in this championship, is that you won't see any of them giving up. Never. They do not give up. Jochen Hahn leads the race, then 2.1 seconds to Norbert Kish. We look here at John Newell with Clemens Hecker, Luke Garrett and Louis Requenco right behind. These guys fighting for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th in the Chrome class. We have 10 Chrome drivers here this weekend, and bearing in mind that last season that would have been, well, over 80% of the grid. We've really bolstered the grid well, especially for the start of the season here with 17 trucks out on circuit. We have 7 Titan drivers as the last lap board is shown and nearly blown out of the marshals' hands. It is once again these two. 12 championship titles between Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish. Jochen's had, well, since the first corner anyway, a bit of an easier ride at the very front of the pack. But he still had to push like mad to try and get away from Norby. Last time round, Norby did a 2:03.8 to Jochen Hahn's 2:05.0. Nobody else in the 2:04s. And bear in mind that Norby's ended on 2:03.8. He's gone over a second quicker than anybody else has. Fastest lap of the race actually did go to Jochen Hahn, a 2:03.0. But since then it's been high 2:04s, low 2:05s. Don't think that Norby's going to be able to quite do enough to get him by the flag, but what an amazing drive this has been by Norbert Kish. This is definitely one of those races where the result sheet doesn't tell the full story, but it does tell you that Jochen Hahn is going to add another victory to his ever-growing tally. He nearly got there in the end, did Norby, but Jochen Hahn takes first blood in 2025 in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kish finishes a great second place. Christian Ruppert will enjoy that footage as if he came home in third. But it's Steffi Halm on the podium in the very first race of the season. And then it's Antonio Albacete in fourth place. Rene Reiner, welcome back to the championship, sunshine. He takes a fifth place ahead of Sasha Lenz in sixth, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez seventh, and Mark Taylor wins in the Chrome class, the first race of the season for him. Bradley Smith on the podium as well, his first race of the season with Don't Touch Racing. Very, very well done to Bradley. Third place will go Jonathan Andre as well. Really good stuff there. Some very, very popular podiums, I'm sure, for some of these drivers. John Newell and then Clemens Hecker and Luke Garrett just ahead of Louis Requenco at the flag too. Boy, that was close stuff, wasn't it? Very, very close stuff in the end there. But a busy, busy first race of the season, won by Jochen Hahn. Norbert Kisch in second position. And Steffi Halm takes third place, starts her championship with an overall podium. She'll be over the moon about that one. But Jochen and Iveco will be very, very pleased. As I'm told as well that one of the trophy representatives is from Iveco as well. Pamela Paratico, the brand marketing director for Iveco. We'll also have Davide Califano for Goodyear. He's the head of brand and marketing. Davide's lovely. He's a very, very enthusiastic man. Had a fantastic chinwag with him at the Nürburgring last season. We had some wonderful access to one of the lounges in the top of the building at the Nürburgring, and we had a good sit down with a drink and talked shop. I pretended to know a thing or two about business, which I absolutely do not, but Davide gave me all the time in the world, bless him. An interesting thing about that race as well is that the two categories, Titan and Chrome, were split perfectly, actually. All the Titan drivers finished in the top 7, and then it was all Chrome drivers. All that won by Mark Taylor, though, in the Chrome class. Bradley Smith starts his campaign with a podium as well as second place. That's a really, really good result for Bradley. And then third place, Jonathan Andre. He'll be over the moon with that as well. He's a race-by-race entrant this season. But the perfect place to end up with one of the very first pieces of silverware of the campaign. But Mark, in the rebranded Mark Taylor racing machine, or Taylor's Truck Sport, I should say, he'll be really pleased with that one. Not sure Antonio Albacete or T-Sport Bernau will be too pleased, unfortunately. The damage seemingly at the start of the race there causing them some grief until the end. But in comes Jochen Hahn, and he will celebrate with the team. Norbert Kisch, second place. Very, very big well done to Norby. That was an awesome, awesome drive to recuperate from 16th on the grid. But it's not the first time Jochen Hahn's won a race, and it definitely will not be the last. He'll have been slightly surprised, I think, to see Norby in the mirrors, but he controlled that race from the very start and did a wonderful job right up to the flag. We'll have a quick chat with his engineer now and just a short debrief in the cab. He's been doing this a long time now as Jochen. He certainly knows what to look out for in a race. Steffi Halm, a big hug from her engineer. And massive appreciation, I'm sure, for her first piece of silverware this season. And again, won't be the last. Jochen Hahn heads down from the cab of his machine. You can see he's red hot after that. A very tiring race indeed in those sorts of conditions, and I'm sure he will now have a word and a high five with Lena van der Maas. And then we'll hopefully hear from some of our other drivers as well. As Norbert Kisch, I believe, just moves over Bellew Jr. so he can actually get out. I think it's a left-hand drive truck, the number 1 machine. There is Davide Califano. As mentioned, he's going to be checking over the tyres themselves. And as predicted, we're going to go into the pit lane with Lena, and she's going to speak to Jochen Hahn.
Yes, I am, and I was hoping to have Norbert and Jochen together because they're fighting for the European Championship 7th title, and what a race, hasn't it been? I mean, he did such a tight, good job with his new truck, and Norbert, I call him Mr. Pac-Man, and he really earns the title. There he is, so come with me, Jochen. We have him have a celebration, but you gained so many points. Congratulations. We just wait for him to take off his helmet. He needs another second. Maybe you can tell us what was going on through your head when you saw that there was a red car coming in the rear.
The red car make me not so really nervous. I see I was 4 laps more and he's behind me and then we have a gap, I go to safety. But the start is a little bit tricky. I'm a little bit late, but okay, I respect, but Antonio closed the door and I must go to the right side, otherwise, no, we have the contact. I hope all is clear on the start and the stewards see it like me and then I'm happy, but not before.
All right, yeah, we can tell that his truck got some contact. Look over there, there's some touching. And yeah, I mean, Norbert, he showed that the both of you will have a very tight race this year, obviously. He had some leaking stuff, technical stuff with his trucks. You did a very tight, good job with your truck. You seem to be very confident. So I think it's going to be quite a year this year.
Yeah, we will see. So he make a good job, yes. I don't know on which position he is after the start, but okay, I see it in the mirror and I know nobody is fast every time.
Okay, we will take him over as well, just for a second maybe, because yeah, the two of you, we said it's going to be the fight. I will just stand in front of you. Maybe we can turn over a little bit so we have the nice background. It's about the 7th European champion title, obviously. You're not going to make it easy for Jochen, as we just saw. So I'm really looking forward to see the both of you race this week, this year. Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure I'm not going to make it easy for him. You know, my aim is the same, you know, to try to win the championship this year. Today we were a bit unlucky with the technical failure and with the qualifying, but, you know, I think we had a good race. I was able to overtake some people and got quite close to Johan at the end. So, you know, good pace, but difficult race because there was some fuel on the circuit or something. So you couldn't do your usual lines, but you had to, like, you know, avoid the fuel on the circuit. So it was a bit different race than usual, but, you know, it was good. And the pace was good, so I'm happy.
Yes, it was. We couldn't even see that there was something going on the track, so it's quite good information. You both built a new truck, so you both put a lot of experience in your new machines, as we can tell. How much would you say from your old machine is the new one more improved, maybe in percentage? How much more technology or like knowledge maybe did you put into it?
I'm not sure. Difficult to say because, you know, for sure the concept remained the same that we used in the previous seasons, and lap times we were a bit faster in most in the testing than last year, and also today in the free practice too I was able to do the same lap time as my pole position here last year. So, you know, I was hoping to improve some more in qualifying with 6 new tires, but, you know, we didn't get there. So, you know, for sure I think it looks good, and it seems that we can be a few tenths faster than last year, which is, I think, good. It's just, you know, we need to fix the reliability.
Okay, you go get your trophy. 2nd place for now and a lot of points waiting. He's going to get his first trophy. And Steffi, one quick word to you, just because we have the time. What a defense. You're already my #1 defensive driver. I think I will give you golden elbows after this year.
Yeah, it was a good race. You know, the start was a little bit tricky because Antonio had a really good start, and then in the first corner it was a little bit confusing. But then I was in a brilliant condition with the position, but then Antonio, I don't know, I was on the inside line, but he just turned like there was no truck, so we had a big crash at the side, and I don't know why, but then after I was able to overtake him. During the race, it's getting a little bit slippery. Somebody loses some liquid, and there I made a few mistakes, so I slowed down a little bit. And also when Nobby was behind me, I was not able to accelerate at that part where I was because there was the liquid. So he passed, but I'm really, really happy for me and also for the team. First race, first podium.
Yeah, you go get your trophy. The podium is waiting up there. Chess, back to you until we have our first celebration of 2025 season waiting.
Thank you so much, Lena. That was a fantastic race indeed. But like we said, you know, as Lena rightly pointed out, we had no idea there was any fluid on the circuit or any difficulty anywhere for any of the drivers. They just made it look that professional and that clean. Jochen Hahn takes his first win of the season in 2025, with Norbert Kisch scything his way through the order from 16th on the grid to take 2nd. Steffi Halm starts off her campaign with her first trophy of the season in the new truck as well. Brilliant stuff from her. Antonio Albacete, I think the word is survived that race after the multitude of contact he had in 4th ahead of René Reinert. Welcome back, René. Top 5 for him. He'll be really pleased. Sascha Lenz finished in 6th place. Maybe a little bit more to tighten up there with Sascha and the team. He'll be hoping for a little bit better in the second race later this afternoon. He'll be starting from 3rd on the grid. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez finished in 7th place in the Titan class, with Mark Taylor winning in the Chrome category. And importantly, he's going to start on pole position for the second race a little bit later on. Bradley Smith and Jonathan Andre will both be really pleased with their first podiums of the championship as well. John Newell and Heinrich Clemens Hecker next up in 11th and 12th. Luke Garrett and Louis Requenca were all in that fight as well. That was very, very close. Stefan Kirsch finished in 15th place. Christian Ruppert was a lap down, but as he said, always learning as the season goes on. Stefan Fass, unfortunately, not finishing. We're just quickly going to go to some highlights, and then we'll be back in just a moment with the podiums. So everybody was ready to get going in the heat of Misano for the very first race of the championship. No Norbert Kish on the front row, which after a 2024 season like we had, seemed very, very strange indeed. There was contact on the way down into turn 1. Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn rubbing panels as they headed into the first couple of corners. Eventually Steffi Halm getting up into 2nd place to lead away from Antonio, as all the trucks battled on behind. Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish reinvigorated their fantastic fights that we'd seen before. Norby eventually making his way past Mark Taylor, then his teammate René Reinert, and then going chasing after Steffi Halm for a 2nd position that he would hold on until the very end. There was great battles further down. I was going to say in the Chrome class, but Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, now a Titan driver, he was holding off some of the Chrome drivers, Taylor, Smith and Andre, right in the fight with him as well, as Norby put up a great attack on Steffi Halm, and she, as always, put up a great defence as well. Golden elbows, as Lena said. Absolutely true, that is. Absolutely true. Steffi Halm, fantastic defensive driving. And then the battles re-continued, didn't they, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor. Bradley Smith nearly taking advantage, but he settled for 2nd place in the Chrome class in the end, a result that he and the team will be absolutely over the moon with, considering how tough a season they had in 2024. But ultimately, it came down to Jochen Hahn winning the first race of the championship, with Norbert Kish just behind, Steffi Halm in 3rd, and then Taylor, Smith and Andre on the podium in the Chrome class. And we have everybody prepared up on the podium now. And I believe handing out the trophies for the Titan class, the overall podium, will be Davide Califano from Goodyear, as the behind-the-scenes discussion goes on. And that there is Pamela Paratico from Iveco. And that there is Steffi Halm making her way up onto the podium for the first time this season. Big smiles from Steffi. A great way to start her championship. Norbert Kish makes his way up onto the podium as well, I think. I think he was announced to come up onto the podium. Richard Keimberger up there as well, the photographer. There, Norbert Kish now brought up onto the podium. A lot happier after that race than he was at the end of qualifying, I'm sure. A bit of a relief for him and Reves Racing, I'm sure. And now listen to the cheer. Jochen Hahn makes his way up to the top step of the podium. And now they will get their trophies from Davide Califano. Steffi Halm receives her first trophy of 2025. And my friend Joby Evans has just messaged me saying, apparently I have already called Bradley Smith Andre Curzon. I knew I'd do it. I'm sorry, Joby. I'm sorry, Bradley. And I'm sorry, Andre. Norbert Kish gets his first trophy of the 2025 season. Trust as it won't be the last. And same for Jochen Hahn as well. A big well done from Davide Califano to the 6-time champion, Jochen Hahn. And now I believe we should get the national anthem of our winning driver, the national anthem of Germany. At some point, I think. And there we go, a shortened version of the German national anthem, and the drivers will now pose on the top step of the podium for their pictures. There's people chanting Kishnorbi as well. They swapped their hats as well, from the Goodyear hats to their own branded hats. They pose for pictures with Richard Keimberger over on the right-hand side of the podium. And then it's time for champagne. And they don't tend to, as I'll always point out, they won't tend to spray each other for races 1 and 3. They know they've got a race later on. They don't want the dry cleaning or anything at this point of the weekend. It'll be the second race later this afternoon where they will have the champagne fight up on the podium. And cheers to one another. And well done to Jochen Hahn, our first race winner of 2025. There's the Midjet Italia Championship heading out onto the circuit. And there is the championship standings overall after the first race of the season. 20 points to Jochen Hahn. Norbert Kisch gets 15, Steffi Halm on 12, and then it's 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way down inside the top 10. All top 10 drivers score points overall, and in the chrome category as well. They're scored differently. But of course, the top 8 on the reverse grid will be swapped around. So Mark Taylor and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez will start on the front row, as they did a few times last season in 2024. We certainly look forward to seeing how they get on at the very front of the order in race 2 this afternoon. We still have the chrome podiums come though. And just on time, there is Jonathan Andre, the French driver, race-by-race entrant this season. He makes his way up onto the third step, and he's absolutely delighted with that, as you can see, and not surprisingly so. He's done a lot of hard work to make sure that he gets quicker and quicker, and so does the truck. Bradley Smith up on the podium as well. I'm trying to remain slightly unbiased here as a British commentator, but Bradley is a real rising star of truck racing, and with the support of Don't Touch Racing, he's doing incredible, incredible things. Mark Taylor, though, a real driving force in the chrome category in 2024. He now takes the top step of the podium in the category for the first time in 2025, and he is surely a favourite to take the title this year. And as mentioned, we have Pamela Paratico from Iveco, the brand marketing director, handing the trophies to Jonathan Andre for third place, Bradley Smith for second, his first piece of silverware of the campaign, and then Mark Taylor taking the class winners trophy for the first race here at Misano. And now we should have the national anthem of Great Britain for the class winning driver. Maybe not, as they pose for pictures on the top step straight off the bat. Ah, there we go. And there we go, somewhere in there amongst the noise of the Midjet Italia Cup was the British national anthem. Mark Taylor takes his class victory, and he'll be over the moon with that. Some silverware for the team. They worked very hard And the hard work has now paid off. It's time for some champagne, which they will, I'm sure, spray down into the pit lane. Maybe all over our cameraman. You never know. Our cameramen do tend to get drenched up on the podium. But well done, Jonathan Andre, third place. Bradley Smith, second place. And Mark Taylor winning in the Chrome class here this afternoon. We still have another race yet to come, though. So do not go anywhere. We will have very soon the second race of the weekend. But that's how the Chrome Championship looks after the first race. Mark Taylor ahead of Bradley Smith, Jonathan Andre, John Newell in fourth place ahead of Clemens Hecker, Luke Garrett and Louis Requenco. Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert gets 2 points in ninth position. Unfortunately, no points for Stefan Faas as he did not complete the race. So I'm afraid he will have to start from zero in race 2 and hope that the truck holds up reliability-wise and gets him the result that he wants. Stefan is definitely a driver that could fight for the championship, just needs the truck to behave itself underneath. As you can see on the left-hand side of your screen there, they have the team's podium going on. Trophies there also given out, I believe, by Davide Califano. They'll have a team representative from each squad head up onto the podium. And the trucks, as you can see now, making their way through the garages back into the paddock. And it's our turn to also head back into the paddock, and we'll say goodbye for now, and we'll be back for race 2 a little bit later this afternoon with a reverse grid. Mark Taylor and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on the front row. Thanks very much for listening to me, Chaz Draycott. We're back again soon. I'm going to hand back down to Lena for some final words.
Yeah, I really hope I get to see you again at 5 p.m. for race number 2 of the season 2025 and the European Truck Racing Championship. I really think we had an amazing start, exciting start, no boredom at all. So I can't wait for later on. Have a quick drink, have a chat, and I'll see you again. Thank you so much for watching.